How many times have you thought about starting a YouTube channel and at first it was just, what if no one watches? And then it became, I don't think my life is interesting enough. And then it turned to, am I too late to start? That is my story. Hi, I go by Yeri, and I'm gonna list down 3 reasons why starting a YouTube channel is a brilliant idea even if no one watches. Especially when no one watches. Number 1, it's your growth diary. I can count how many times I encountered the same problem and took different steps to solve it year by year. That means as I get older, I learn more, I approach things differently, and there's growth. It doesn't even have to be a year. I can say that the me today has more experience and learnings than the me yesterday. One thing that will not end until you leave this earth is learning. That is why one of the things I regret right now is not having enough documentation of my past selves. Because without the photos and videos, we tend to overlook the fact that we have come so far from the very first moment we thought of a dream or have set a goal. Starting a YouTube channel for this purpose takes away the pressure of perfectionism because you would want to be as authentic as possible to get the real record of who you are and what you've learned. And to be honest, authenticity is what people are craving, most especially this year with all the fake videos and AI taking over the internet. And you know what I realized over the years is having a solid perception of who you are as a person is so important because that is gonna be your foundation. If you do not know yourself that well, it's easy to get swayed by other people's opinions about you. But if you know who you are to your core and you are aware that you're in the growth process, it doesn't matter what people say about you. You know your strengths and weaknesses, and you also know that these things can change over time. Everything you've been through is a collection of the person you are becoming. With that knowledge, it doesn't matter how people see you. Each version could be true, but one moment, one interaction, one angle they've seen of you does not define who you are as a person because you already know how complex you are. And it would be really nice to put these versions of you in a time capsule in the form of a YouTube video. So when you watch all those videos in a different point of your life, it's beautiful to then be able to see how much you've changed with all the learnings that accumulated to be parts of you. I know that there are people that are on YouTube just for fame, but chasing the identity of a person you're not is guaranteed to fail sooner or later because it's exhausting to be someone you're not. So having a growth diary not only will help you form a deep connection with yourself, it can also help you find the right people with the same mindset as you. And naturally, you will be able to develop valuable skills that you can use in different aspects of your life. From the first video you upload, you can only go up. Second, it forces you to think. In a generation where everything we see and everything we use is almost like designed to have our brains shut off and locked forever, it is a good thing to have something that will keep your mind running and active. This convenience culture and popcorn brain that we hear are enough reasons on their own to create more than we consume. Because when the brain adapts to rapid-fire, low-effort rewards, real-world tasks that require patience feel increasingly difficult to begin or maintain because our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. And also, if we are not careful in using AI, we lose our independent ability to think. That is why, as much as possible, I want to preserve my unique individual voice, and I do that through seeking from within. In today's world where information can be handed to us with just one click, it's important for me to keep my own thoughts originally mine, and I do that through constant writing, journaling. But it's not always easy to have something to write about. Sometimes I can't find the will to write about what happened in my life because I don't want to repeat the memory in my head. So planning, content, and script writing are effective tools for me that force my brain to think, seek from within, and write without putting much more attention to the negative details of how my day went. For me personally, I find that creating long-form videos is better for my intent to deep dive into my thoughts versus creating short-form videos, which I did for almost a year now. The best gift you can give yourself today is your very own time. So really, right now is the best time to start posting on YouTube even if no one watches. Third, it gives you creative freedom. Creating with 0 views gives you the luxury of radical creative freedom. You are free to do whatever you want, evolve, and find what you actually enjoy making, not what you think you should do. Every creative decision you make is driven purely by curiosity and personal satisfaction, which prevents easy burnout. You can think of every single thing that you love and you can build a tower out of it from scratch. And if it crumbles, you can simply start again. But every time you start again, it's not really a failure because every time you fall, you come back stronger and equipped with more knowledge than you had the first time you tried. So, if failing is a natural part of the process, you would want to fail fast and get the lessons you will be needing to succeed. If you're afraid to start because you don't want to fail, maybe you're actually afraid of being seen trying and be humiliated for not doing extremely well from the very first video you uploaded. And actually, creating content with low views can help you practice tolerance by doing it anyway, even if you feel like you're not ready yet, to train your brain to tolerate mild discomfort from not being perfect immediately. This is why, like what I said in number 1, it's really important to have the right mindset in doing this. Because if you do not have a strong sense of who you are, you can get caught up in the loop of constantly seeking external validation from people watching or people who could be watching. But the good news is, everyone gets through the same phase in this journey. I like to think that the low viewer phase is kind of a training that you definitely have to go through to be comfortable in this new kind of world you are entering. Some people finish the training faster than the others, but it is in your best interest to fully utilize this time of peace and quiet to build strong foundations internally. And if that training is done finally, you will be very happy you didn't quit. Right now, I don't have many subscribers, nor do I have big audience, but I'm treating this as a gift to my future self. Because whatever happens in this account, this is proof that 23-year-old me has finally got the courage to start doing what the 13-year-old me has been wanting to do for years and years. And to be honest, I don't think there is such a thing I can call a failure in creating something, because if you do something over and over, naturally you can only get better and better. If you're still watching this video up to this point, I really appreciate you being here. Maybe you're contemplating on whether it's worth it to start a YouTube channel, so I'm here to tell you to just start and we'll see where this takes us both.